What is going on, everybody, on Hump Day? It's a Hump Day edition of Tracks of the Damned. This time I am coming live to you from Irwin, Pennsylvania. And of course, my brother over here, motherfucking Hoof Beast, is in the house, and we are bringing to you some of metal's most disappointing follow-up albums. How many stinkers did you come across there?
Well, I've got a list of like 10.
Nice.
10 that are really, really stinky. But a couple are controversial.
Yeah. I think there's a few on my list also that are a bit disappointing. Throughout most of my research on the topic, a lot of people's lists were anywhere but Allison, what's up, Balsbong? She goes, "Hey, Stinks." I love it. She says, "Finishing up a movie, I'll be okay. Be there 100% here soon." Nice, gotcha. Having a little fun, are we? But yeah, anywhere from like 10 to 12. But I feel like there's so many more, especially in like the hard rock genre, as well as some of the other ones. There's just so many. This is something that is, I think, musically universal. What's up, Kyler? Good to see you, brother. Cody, Rebecca in the house. So, yeah, this is just like something that is universal across all music mediums. But, you know, in the realm of metal, they can kind of fuck it up too. You know, and some of them are like big bands too. But before we get into all of this madness, we're going to take a quick commercial break to our brothers over at Poison Valley Clothing. Check that shit out. Allahu Akbar! Absolutely. If you have not gone over there yet, get over there to Poison Valley Clothing on Facebook. Check out all the new designs that David has been coming up with, as well as you very well could have a custom shirt made. Super high quality, very inexpensive, fast shipping. All right. Never get tired of that song. Never. Yabelka, what's going on? Let's see here. Kyler also says, "All right, I have my drink. I'm ready to be triggered by your guys' choice."
I don't think he will. I don't think he'll be triggered.
No, I certainly hope not. Because some of these are very fucking obvious, in my opinion. There is one that I'm going to tell you that I'm going to start with first. I don't care what anyone says. But This band, iconic, simply single-handedly responsible for heavy metal in the late 60s, early 70s. And when I tell you they came off of a super fantastical record and then gave us a heaping pile of what the fuck. And if you haven't guessed already, the band is Black Sabbath. Yes, I know, right? My number one all-time favorite band in the entire universe. And they gave us this record. First of all, it looks like a dying robot. Basically, I don't know if it's projectile vomiting or pissing on a building. What the fuck is that? On an escalator, of all things. They give us technical ecstasy. I can only say one song on there was even digestible because they were so erratic, so all over the place. I don't know. I cannot listen to this album from front to back because it's painful. It's like, wait a minute, Sabbath suddenly is trying to be like the Eagles? And to be honest with you, if they hadn't given us, some classic metal tracks, and this was on maybe in a different band somewhere else, something, excuse me, that wasn't Black Sabbath, maybe, people could have really, got down with it. But me personally, fucking hated it. The only track that really kind of comes to mind for me on this album that was anywhere worth a shit was Dirty Women. Mm-hmm. Maybe Rock and Roll Doctor. That one was kind of fun. It was just a fun track, but the rest of it, fuck off.
All of them are a disappointment because Totally Gone is the darkness.
Yes.
And there was darkness.
Out of the Earth Records.
Yep. To me, they were trying. They had some big people probably at Capitol Records or whomever they were. Were they with Warner Brothers or Capitol? But it was somebody at some huge record company that was probably influencing that shit because that was awful. They can't blame it on cocaine fully or weed fully because this was something else. This is fucking horrible.
I mean, shit. Even with the big vats of cocaine that they used to tell everyone that they had during the recording of Volume 4, you can't tell me that made them shed their, I guess you could say, elaborate costumes, and suddenly they're wearing whatever the latest fashion is that particular year. Tony Iommi cut his hair short and got rid of the porn stash. What were you thinking, sir? Your stash was iconic. Oh my goodness. Kyler says, speaking of dirty women, we missed Monday's ritual. Is somebody calling for a special dance? Well, I mean, since you said something, here we go. Got him! See, it's not even Monday, and we're blessed with Zabute.
Thank you, Kyler.
Right.
Kyler did that for my sake, I know.
I think he also likes it, quite honestly. Let's see. Mousebong says this was
Of
OFC
course.
on my list.
Of course.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Thank you. I don't always catch that. Cody says, I have a box set of Black Sabbath on CD, and this is the only album in it that I haven't listened to. It doesn't have the Black Sabbath feel to it. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's definitely not them. They were puppeteered on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Kyler says, can't get enough of that ass.
Well, I can tell Kyler did his pregame before this show.
I think so. But hey, nothing wrong with that. So that was the other thing. I mean, everyone knows that this album was absolute crap. So I just wanted to get it out of the way because to me, this wasn't shocking. Hey, what's up, Aaron? Good to see you, my brother.
Mousebong says Kyler craving that booty transition.
Yep.
Is that right, Kyler?
I mean, I think that is absolutely very, 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 very possible. He was the only one that brought it up because I'm sure it's better than looking at me in this. That was a picture from the movie that I am working on right now here in Pennsylvania. So I got a couple more zingers in case you want to see more later on. All right. Let's see. Oh, my goodness. Mousebong says, nice, tight 80s butt with 80s thong. I mean, yeah. There's a reason that, at the tender age of I think I was 12 or 13 when that came out. I mean, it blew me away. I was glued to it instantly, and I've never forgotten it. And I'm almost 50. Oh, thanks, Aaron. I appreciate that. He says, you look so badass. Oh, no. Cody says, we need a video with you hitting a dance move in that costume. As a matter of fact, there was somebody that did catch my little wiggle dance on the way back through the door for another take. So maybe I'll put that together somehow. Mousebong says buns of steel. I mean, she was put together,
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. All right. What you got for your first one there, brother?
My first one is a band that started off as one of the pioneers of even black metal with Hellhammer. They're out of Germany. And then Celtic Frost put out, I think, Into the Pandemonium. And then there was Morbid Tales as an EP that they released. Both good albums, but very dark. All of the Hellhammer stuff is fucking like first wave of kind of black metal-ish and really, really good shit. And then in September 1st of 1988, we got this shit show. I don't know if you can see it because of the glare, but it's Celtic Frost Cold Lake.
Oh, you beat me to it. Fuck. That's all right.
Well, if I beat you to it, then you probably have the picture, the album picture. You could throw.
You know
that
what?
up.
As a matter of fact, I do. Fuck. Let me get it up there.
Well, we might double up on a bunch of them.
Well,
yeah, this is a kind of a hard one to find. I'm glad you found that picture as well, because that is so fucking awful. Where is Tom G. Warrior's top lip? It's like gone.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
We got Lizzie in the house too. Welcome,
Yes,
Lizzie and Aaron.
Lizzie, welcome.
Yeah, so this album, let me just, I could compare and contrast.
You could.
I'll do it in a second. But here are some of the track lists off of this little shit morsel. Seduce Me Tonight. That is the second track. The first track is an intro. So really their first track is Seduce Me Tonight. And guys, this crap happened all the time in the 80s, where you had a good metal band and they were pressured into hairspraying out and glamming it. And this was their attempt at glamming it up, and it was not a good one. The next one is Petty Obsession. And how about Cherry Orchards?
Oh, suck it.
Juices Like Wine is the one that they that's the one that they first released, and that's when they made a video for.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. How about
this was also on Cody's list as well.
Little Velvet. Well, Blood on Kisses. Downtown Hanoi. Dance Sleazy. Really? Yeah, shit morsel, I guess, refers to my dog. He likes rating where the cat has buried her shit and taken.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, yeah. There's some amazing ones on here. Dance Sleazy, Roses Without Thorns. One that I really hated was Mexican Radio, because I already didn't like that song, and they made it even worse.
Yeah.
And then they had one called Tease Me. So like all of these songs are like something that could be a Motley Crue or a Rat or Poison. Yeah, one of these bands. Yes, my dog. Yes, Mouse Bong. My dog is the turd burglar. I don't know where it came from. I think Mouse Bong knows where that came from, but yeah, that term is one that we used with my sister's dachshunds. They were turd burglars. They would burgle each other's turds, though. Ew. It wasn't something at least interesting, maybe slightly interesting to a dog as a cat turd.
It's like, come on.
Yeah.
There's got to be something more fun to do.
Cat crunchies and kitty crackers. Oh, yeah. Turd burglar came from Beavis and Butthead. What do we do without Mouse Bong here?
Well, come on now. It's not like we're not funny. Yeah. She just ups the ante.
but Cold Lake is really a shit morsel. It is a huge disappointment.
It is undisposable, iridescent, fucking panty waste of an album, and they should be forever ashamed. As Cody said, Tom G. Warrior always says that he absolutely hates that album. Well, it's one of those things. When something caught wildfire in America, it had an effect on Europe. So it's like, everybody just kind of tried to fall in line and do what was happening, because, both sides of the world wants to be on top, wants to have that going band. I don't know why they thought that this would work with Celtic Frost. What? How do you go? We've talked about bands that go from having a signature sound to then suddenly drastically changing their sound. But they didn't only do that. First of all, it was ass-erroneous, as I would like to say. But they changed their look too, which made them look even dumber. So how was anyone going to at the concert with these fucking poofball poodles, which is what I like to call a lot of them. I don't know, man.
I mean, Hellhammer and early Celtic Frost imagery, like on the album covers and stuff, was super fucking dark.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really dark stuff. And then to go to this, my gosh, I remember seeing this in Sam Goody.
Yep.
And I remember seeing it when I remember seeing it when I got, I think it was Twisted Sisters, not Come Out and Play, because that was after. Yeah, they still had that out when Stay Hungry. I went and got Stay Hungry. Yeah.
Yep.
That shit was out.
Mm.
Yikes.
Mm. Yep. Yikes Fiesta. Shame on them for doing that. So we always kind of refer to this guy, this next band, unfortunately, as the Lazy Tit Motherfucker, the purveyor of the Lazy Nips. Well, I mean, it's probably one of the worst blunders in metal history to go from a powerful record, not quite as good as the first three, but still the last we ever had of the Unholy Fab Four. And that, of course, I am talking about the band Danzig, because for some reason, just because Nine Inch Nails suddenly got super hot with a track called Closer, well, they decide to put this piece of crap out. It seems like the 90s was a hotbed for some staple bands to make some seriously bad albums. But still, Danzig 4 was, in fact, a very good record. But to follow it up with a whole brand new record and obviously a new lineup, this was by far the worst album in the Danzig catalog. It was heavily industrial influenced, and I don't mean good industrial. I'm talking about you take a heroin addict who is also drunk as fuck running through an industrial metal plant. And that's what this thing sounds like. It makes no sense. Every loop, every other thing under the sun just did not make sense. And then took a mega fucking shit dookie on Hand of Doom by Black Sabbath and thought that was a tribute? Get the fuck out of here with that shit. My goodness.
This is my number one out of my whole life. The most disappointed I was for any album was this one. But I will say, I don't call the previous four the Unholy Fab Four. Because I'm going to throw out my number 2 right now, and it is Danzig fucking 4.
Oh! You know what? I'm not going to fight that. I'm not going to fight it. Because there is a couple of tracks on there that suck ass.
Yeah, well, I'm going to name them for you. Yeah, we might as well get them both out of the way. I was very disappointed for this album. It's not an absolute shit album.
Right.
But it was a disappointing album. It's not, after How the Gods Kill and how luscious and buttery some of those songs are, and Danzig's voice is so fucking good for that. So there are 4 songs that I think are good that I will actually listen to, and I have actually liked them on Spotify. There's only 4, and I listened to it 3 times the other day.
Nice.
Brand New God, that's how they let it off.
This was a great fucking song.
This is Glenn Danzig, and I think he had his hand in that song more than anyone else, because this is hearkening back to Sam Hain with much better production, big time. So Brand New God is a good song. And then Going Down to Die is like a slower ballad, very dark, really dark fucking ballad. That's a good song. My favorite is Until You Call on the Dark. That's a banger. Uh-oh. Here we go.
You ruffled a feather there, brother.
Uh-oh. But okay, so like I guess maybe she likes the song Can't Speak.
That
fucking song sucks. That fucking song sucks. When I heard that shit, I was like, what the fuck? And then when I heard the unholy shitball Danzig 5, I went back to Can't Speak. We saw the beginning of it. Uh-oh.
I love it.
Yeah, okay, so and then the last good song on this album is Dominion. So they have the first track, they have two that aren't good. Can't Speak is terrible to me. And then it goes three right in a row that are pretty good. So you start to have a little bit of hope for this album, and then everything just sounds rushed after that. They're not memorable. They don't have the edge. And one of the things I was talking to somebody about this was on this album, Danzig relied on his, oh yes, Skylar, Danzig relied way too heavily on his Tarzan of the Apes yell, where he totally lets it out. It's like throughout, way overdone, way shop worn. It's like throughout, like it's like he didn't know what else to do. His lyrics weren't as good, and yep, Mousebong, we can fight it out sometime. But at least I gave you reasons. And I did say there were 4 good tracks on it that I actually like, but the rest, me no likey. And I was disappointed in this album. Doesn't mean it's absolute shit. I will listen to this album anytime before Danzig 5 or before that, oh my gosh, shitstorm, Elude Divinium, whatever, from Morbid Angel in 2011. That thing was horrendous.
Let me pull this up real quick, just so I. Okay.
But there we go.
So, obviously, Brand New God was a banger of a track. Little Whip was a tasty fucking tune that you could spank some ass to. I'm talking about somebody freaky deaky. You know what I'm saying? Just every time that bass drum hits, you know what I'm saying? There's your Beavis and Butthead right there. But anyhow, that song was sexy as fuck. Going Down to Die, utterly fantastic. I actually dug Until You Call on the Dark, though.
Yeah, that was my favorite one out of the album.
Okay. Yeah. So I felt that was a real
Dominion's
strong,
good.
Yes. Bringer of Death, I really dug too. It was just kind of like the only thing I didn't like about it was the siren going off and all the machine gun shooting, because it reminded me too much of Metallica's song 1 from the Justice album. I'm like, that's already been done. You could have started that off with just the John Christ, na 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 na. You could tell that it was a John Christ driven song because it was fucking chuggerific. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it ends up being a little bit more up tempo. Not gonna lie, I did dig the Stalker song. It's once you get past that little clean part in the beginning, it starts to kind of, it picks up an evil vibe. It's kind of like he's taking you through being a stalker. I don't know. I kind of dug that one. Let It Be Captured can eat my taint. I did not like that song at all. Honestly, I don't mind the pain wasn't too bad either. I don't know whose choice it was to do the beginning clean. It's a little different, but I also kind of felt like Eerie Von kind of got to shine there because he's doing a dun 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 dun, while that clean is going. But still, as a whole, this album did not shake my foundation like Danzig 3 did, How the Gods Kill. It's hard to
Yeah, that was my question, is if you compare it to any of the previous three, like it's at least 2 stars back. No, it does not. Now, Spawn, okay. Tyler, Aaron, anybody else? Now, Johnny says it's pretty bad, even if I don't like it.
What? Every song? What? Come on. There's a couple of snoozers in there. There really is. It's it's one of those Danzig records that I can honestly say I had to skip a few tracks. Not taking anything away from what you're saying. I mean, she says, obviously it's not as good as How the Gods Kill, but come on. It is. I'm telling you personally, there's songs on that record I still get down to today, but Can't Speak can go fuck itself. I'm sorry.
It's fucking horrible.
I mean, if I was in a suicidal mood, I don't know. Maybe I could get with it. I don't know. I'd have to be uber depressed to like that song. I can't do it. The video was cool. I'll give the video that much, but that was just not. And that's one of the things. That's one of the things that Danzig said in an interview too. He for Black Acid Devil, the 5th one. It was, that was kind of like introducing our crowd to what was going to happen. I'm like, really? Because you should have gave them a better glimpse into that, as it was about to become the biggest shit fiesta that Danzig could have ever have done. I know they're probably going to spank me for using the word. I know. I don't know. I'm kind of like, I don't give a fuck right now. I just don't. But I don't know. As a whole, the record is not that great. Just isn't. But there are some songs that are actually pretty decent. Now I'm going to attack another band. That people are going to be like, God damn it, Reaper, stop it. Slayer, man, after Seasons of the Abyss, things got wonky. Dave Lombardo, the master of the Skins, who just celebrated his birthday a day ago. Happy birthday, Dave. We love you. Left the band, wanted to do other things, and that's fine. So we get Paul Bostaph in there. And he's not a bad drummer. He's no Dave Lombardo, though. He just does not possess the same feel, the same power that Dave brought to the band. But as a follow-up record, and, he's trying to come off strong. This record here was just not a good one whatsoever. It didn't hold a candle to any classic songs, obviously, that we've all kind of grown to love. There just wasn't anything strong enough that made it stand out. I don't know what to say. It didn't seem like Slayer to me. It seemed not very creative, just kind of like doing a record to do a record, because I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. They didn't get good again until God Hates Us All came out. That's just my feelings on the matter. I didn't care for this record much. It just seemed lackluster, throwback material, not anything new. When you have a changing of the guard as strong as a drummer change, you're going to want to put something out that's going to be like, hey, just because original dude ain't here no more. We still got the thunder. This album didn't say that.
Yep, that's a good choice. Like probably now I don't want to count this one as one of mine, but Divine Intervention was a huge disappointment for me. Coming off of Seasons in the Abyss, which is one of my favorite albums all time. I agree with Tony D. Yep, Seasons is a great album, mixed loud. I love that.
Shit. Good to see you.
Really good album. But yeah, Divine Intervention was a huge disappointment to me. Gone were the single notes and the things that they did really well on South of Heaven, Raining Blood, and Seasons. And
yes,
they were just kind of driving forward and going fast. And man, that whole album, I was so disappointed. I was so excited for it. And then to get it home on the day it came out, and just, oh boy, that was a disappointing one too.
I just remember this when this album came out, it was just boring to me. You know, it's like when Anthrax really started sucking. It's like, why am I listening to this? I'd rather, I remember just saying, I'd rather stick with the, because back, obviously, physical media was more important to us. So I'd just go back to seasons and then like move backward if I wanted to listen to Slayer at that point. I'm like, and I remember telling all my dudes, I was like, dude, they're fucking slipping. And then, like I said, God Hates Us All came out. It was fresher, harder, darker. And I think they learned their lesson after the two albums that me and Brother Uthbeast here just said. They actually got their act together a little bit, in my opinion. That's why that album was way more successful because they were much more imaginative with it.
Yep. Yeah, they've never reached anywhere even near what they did with even Show No Mercy and Hell Awaits. They haven't reached even those, like the quality of those albums ever again after Seasons.
No, but at least God Hates Us All gave us some songs off that record that fucking rock.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Kerry King's debut record as a solo artist. Gave us 5 or 6 great tracks, and the rest are like,
Yeah. Kind of like Danzig 4. That was for Mousebong. Mousebong says because it follows Seasons, and Seasons is fucking amazing, Divine left a lot to be desired, and it did.
Yes.
Like, that's one I think I did buy it on CD again, but I don't listen to it very often.
Honestly, when that Divine Intervention came out, because Dave wasn't on it, I didn't even listen to it. Everyone else's opinion was unanimous on it.
So my next Cat Tootsie Roll is from a band that had a really good album. They switched vocalists, and they put out an excellent album called The Sound of White Noise. And that fucking album is really good. John Bush is the vocalist. He was a great upgrade, I thought, for them. And I thought The Sound of White Noise was a really inspired album. Every fucking song on that album is really, really good. And then they came out with Stomp 442. I don't know if you can see this shit, probably not. But it is Anthrax's Stomp 442 is fucking horrible. It came out about 3 years later. It's fucking horrible. Now, Mousebong, I wasn't saying that Danzig 4 is fucking horrible. I was saying Danzig 5 Black Acid Evil is or Devil is
Right.
that one is fucking horrible. That fucking that's
Uber
the biggest
trash.
disappointment
Yes.
I have ever had. Yeah, but this is just, everything is kind of just rhythm. Nothing stands out. They don't change tempo at all. It's just a super forgettable album. They totally dropped the ball. They had so much momentum with John Bush, and then to drop this fucking album. I listened to it one time. I tried to listen to it a second time. I did not, and I went to the record exchange store for that one. Try to trick somebody who was thinking they were getting a good deal by buying that thing used.
Again, it makes you wonder why they would change the formula, why the magic that they created on that first record with John Bush, who is a fantastic fucking singer. But you also noticed he got a big old haircut for the second record.
Yeah.
That was kind of a message to me saying that, you know, I know a lot of people are so heartfelt about the grunge era that, you know, guys were not all long haired and stringy and all that stuff. So, you know, it makes you wonder, was it the record company, the management behind the band that was like, okay, we had a great hit, guys. Now, this is what's hot this year. This is how you should look, and that's how we want to present you for the next record. It's like, or did something happen in their life or something? I don't know. My money is on the fact that when record companies were more, not that they're not in control now, but they were even more in control back in those days when it came to trying to sell records. Because, I mean, dude's voice didn't change, but the song quality changed. And it's like, fuck, man, you guys were really on the comeback trail, especially when there was such loyal Anthrax fans that loved Joey Belladonna, who I can't fucking stand. So I don't know. Their future probably could have got a lot brighter if they would have kept in the direction that they were going. Just my opinion. And let's see, we got one comment there. Tony D says, I love Anthrax. I thought The Sound of White Noise was a great album. Only and Black Lodge were great tunes. Fuck yeah, they were.
I thought those were probably my two favorites as well. But that whole album is really good.
Yeah, I mean, it stood against fucking Pantera, you know, who had just a huge success with their album in the early 90s and pretty much ruling the metal world at that point. So for Anthrax, that was a fucking win. Like they, you know, because they come from the 80s. Technically, Pantera did too, but no one ever heard of them and didn't realize they were a glam band. So, you know, that there's an example of a band that turned it around pretty quickly, I might add. All right. Who do I want to go with next? That's the question. That was Black Acid Devil.
Like the way I kind of went through these is like which albums really disappointed me. Like which albums that I was so excited for that I was super disappointed for.
Well, it was like with Slayer and obviously Celtic Frost. I was expecting A, thought Slayer would get their shit together, and B, thought Celtic, Frost was going to just keep upping their game in a strong ass way, and then they didn't. They went completely ass backwards. We alluded to this goddamn record a little bit ago, and definitely made my fucking shit list because the fuck. There was just too much experimentation on this record, and it just does not hold up well at all with the great Morbid Angel catalog. No good. Bruja, what's up? We have another new viewer today. This is fucking fantastic. We got all kinds of new folks coming in tonight. We appreciate y'all so much joining the Addicts. But
and look at our addicts in there. Welcome every new person right away.
Every time. One big happy metal family that we are. Abso-fucking-lutely. Oh, yes. Hail Satan as well. Most def. It says people expected a lack of convention, certainly, but when the long-awaited album turned out to be a techno-industrial stab at the mainstream appeal. See, that's... Oh, okay. Yes, Hail Satan as well. How are you going to try to put that into this extreme metal that had a great fucking formula? And okay, so he wanted to put an album out just to say fuck the mainstream. Well, he could have wrote a fucking extreme metal song and got that done. You know what I mean? Come on. Who are we fooling there? I mean, there's such great fucking musicians. Great fucking catalog up to that point. This was an album that none of us wanted. Rosemary's Baby was fucking phenomenal. And I'll tell you why. The great Magister himself was in the film. Anton LaVey. Shit. Speaking of Anton, I was going through some of his old interviews today, just getting inspiration after inspiration. But anyway, how do you feel about this record?
Yeah. When I heard the industrial shit in there, like I knew that shit was forced on the rest of the band.
Had to be.
Now I do know that I think, oh God, Trey actually likes DJ music. I think he actually does. So he was probably down for it for a bit, and he does have some good riffs on a few of the songs, but it's just not a dark, nasty, Morbid Angel, slimy Morbid Angel album like we were used to. Like a lot of people don't like Heretic as much, but I fucking love that album. I have that one on vinyl too.
I don't see anything wrong with that one.
Yeah, I really like Heretic.
I enjoyed it. This one, I mean, it's almost as bad as Danzig 5. I'm not even going to grace his presence with the word devil.
Danzig 5 has 0 songs that are even like a 1 out of 5 stars. They're all horseshit. But the Morbid Angel album, Elude Divinium, that album has a few songs that are all right. They're like 3 out of 5 stars. Nothing's like groundbreaking and super fucking dark and stank face like the whole way through.
Yeah.
But they're all right.
I think they threw those on there just to make sure they didn't lose anybody for the snooze fest that was about to hit them. They didn't want to completely turn everybody off. So I think David was probably pretty smart with that. Also, though, I think he's actually still a fan of that record, because that interview we did with him, the one thing he said was, no matter whether I made a country record or if I made this record or that record, if People didn't like it. I don't fucking care. I mean, literally, that's what he said. But I mean, for us Morbid Angel fans and everybody out there in Morgrot universe, you guys know good Morbid Angel from the crap that was this record. So, and unfortunately, there are some people that obviously didn't like Heretic, but I thought it was good.
Yeah, me too.
So it's user friendly. It's up to the consumer at that point, you know. But definitely you have to admit Heretic definitely was a better record than this one.
Oh hell.
Oh,
Many years apart as well.
yes.
Oh, shit. There was just
Tony
a huge
D.
explosion.
What
There was a
outside?
huge explosion outside, like a huge one.
Molotov cocktail, perhaps?
Yeah, it kind of sounded like that. I don't know if are we allowed to show stuff like this on I don't think we're allowed to. Yeah.
I wouldn't. Tony D says, I missed the Danzig discussion. I'm a big fan. Saw him when he toured Danzig 2. Oh, yeah. Oh, I saw the Danzig 4 tour as well. He says, I feel that after the original lineup left, the music suffered. Fuck yeah, it did. It fell apart.
Big time.
He got close to bringing things back with Danzig 6. It wasn't until I Luciferi that Danzig was able to bring back I don't even want to say commercial success, even though he did have commercial success with that record. The band was heavier. He ditched that stupid fucking shit that he was doing with the industrial samples and whatnot. So I think that's why that record seemed a bit more like him. And he realized it because I don't think people were buying tickets to go see him on the Danzig 5 tour. I really don't. But, you know, he'll never admit to that, I'm sure. Oh, shit. Rebecca says, maybe another Skyquake? What's that? Wait a minute. Here we go. Cody says, there was a Skyquake in Tennessee last night. A meteor broke the atmosphere? Fuck!
Oh.
I wish I could have seen that shit.
It sounded like
you said maybe similar to what you just heard.
Sounded like Bruja heard it. She said, I heard that. Did you guys hear that through my microphone? It was loud.
I mean, I heard a little bit myself, but I also know that a big enough caliber weapon can make a big sound like that too.
Yeah.
Just saying. Let's see here. Tony says, yeah, Industrial Danzig was not good. Yes, and we'll leave it there. We'll definitely leave it there. Mousebong says, I only got to see Danzig for the first time for I Luciferi. It was sweet, though. Yes, it was a good record. Personally, I think it's very underrated in his catalog. Bruja's from Tennessee or in Tennessee currently. So she's asking Cody where. And she said, yes, very loud. Shit. I mean, I noticed it too, but then again, with my ears, I'm just like, maybe it was a car crash or something like that. I don't know. I never miss a beat. Oh, man. Excellent, excellent choice. What is your next one, brother?
Oh, boy. So we
I may or may not have it.
So we enjoyed this band. This band put out some of the most important albums of all time for metal. They have an amazing bassist named Steve Harris.
Oh, God damn it. I bet you I got it.
And after they came out with Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, which was a good album, but it was a little disappointing for me because it was so overproduced. And we started to get I think a little lack of inspiration out of Bruce Dickinson with the writing, as on a
Yes.
couple of songs he repeated the
Chorus.
the chorus like over and over again. And to me, that's a lack of creativity, and it's pretty darn boring. But the album that I'm talking about is No Prayer for the Dying by Iron Maiden. Oh, you already had this baby. Right on.
Oh my goodness. Talk about a immaculately horrible record for them.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, if you want, we reviewed all of Iron Maiden's discography, probably about a year ago or maybe over a year ago. So you can go back and watch that. All right, we got Babylon.
Just in time for the Iron Maiden crap fiesta that is No Prayer for the Dying. I mean, with a title like that, you really would think that, I mean, just the album cover alone. Welcome back, Lizzie. You would have expected so much more out of this record, like that energy, that fire, that, but this album didn't bring it.
This album is where Adrian had left to do a solo album, and you see how important his songwriting was. And so they brought in Bruce Dickinson's for the Balls to Picasso album. They brought in his guitarist, and he's just like a rhythm guitarist. He's about 6'5" or 6'7", and they should have just let him go. Like, I'm sorry, guy, you're not doing anything with the third guitarist. And they bring this guy in there, and he's so rhythm based. And I think they gave him, I'm going to blame him. And I'm partially going to blame Bruce Dickinson as well, because Steve Harris does his best with his galloping fingers on bass throughout. He's still holding them to the thread that runs through Iron Maiden. We can still recognize it. But Bruce Dickinson is really repeating choruses, and look no further than one of the most stupid songs I had ever heard. I heard it one time, never needed to hear it again, and they fucking play that stupid song live. I saw them on the Fear of the Dark tour, and they played that fucking song live, and I saw them on the No Prayer for the back in 1984 or 85, March of 85. Mm-hmm. Anyways, Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. What a dumb fucking song. I cannot stand this. So the whole album is like rhythm based. Gone are the single note guitar duels between the two guitarists, and it's just rhythm oriented. It's more like kind of punk or rock and roll going forward.
Oh shit. Honestly, Aaron, cowbell couldn't save this record. It just wasn't Maiden, the Maiden of old. What we could expect. There was nothing anthemic. There was nothing super, like, excellently creative. I mean, we're seeing Steve Harris like the fucking backbone, and nothing against Nico McBrain, obviously, because he's a fantastic drummer. But Steve Harris's bass is legendary in all of these classic Maiden songs. So for that to like kind of take a back seat kind of deal, it just kind of it could have been so much better. I love it. Babylon says, how about two cowbells and a tambourine? No, that couldn't have saved it either. For real. Mouse Bomb. Yeah. Go ahead. She says, I'm going to throw a not super metal album in A Perfect Circle, Emotive. Yeah, I can dig that. It came right after the 13th Step, and it did not have the magic like the first two albums.
It's all covers.
Yeah. I mean, we're seeing a pattern there with the lead vocalist, Maynard James Keenan. Same thing happened in Tool. Great fucking record, maybe great 2 fucking records. And then suddenly, I'm just going through the motions here. So it really didn't matter which group he was working with. He had a kind of a stinker along the way. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It was just kind of disheartening to see. And some of the most staple bands, we've been talking about it, during the 90s struggled fucking tough. Thank you, Mouse Bong. 2 cowbells and a skin flute. Damn it. I don't think that would have worked either. I agree with you, Babylon. Harris is my favorite part of the band. Yes. But damn it, though, Nico Big Brain could play fucking just amazing with the single bass kit. Babylon also says, what about Megadeth's cryptic writings or the next? Man, there was definitely some crap albums in Megadeth's catalog as well. Kind of hard, to follow up the 2 records that really brought them to the surface.
Yeah, like I agree, Babylon. Fucking Cryptic Writings and Megadeth's Risk. Those were, I bought both of them, and they were big disappointments.
Couldn't agree more. Mousebone says, true, I love Lateralis, but didn't like 10,000 Days that much. Granted, it was like 5 years later. Well, that's kind of the other problem with Maynard going in so many different directions. I say the same thing about fucking Slipknot. When the lead vocalist goes here, goes there, goes here, goes there, doing all these other side projects and shit. I mean, nothing against it. I get it. Some of these guys really want to get different musical sides out of themselves, and that's fine. I mean, that's an artist. But damn it. 5 years for a Tool record? Did they have to?
Well, they went like over 10 years for the next one.
Right. Exactly fucking right. Was he afraid that they were just going to get stale or something? No, I don't think so. I think he, unfortunately, he just had a little bit too big ahead of himself instead of concentrating on the band that really made them all. Let me see here. Exactly. Babylon says Nico is a cool cat. Absolutely. He also says those 2 mega dumb albums were almost not metal, more like grunge love songs. Like I said, that fucking grunge era was so overdone and just crammed literally down everyone's throats that metal bands, especially groups like Megadeth and Iron Maiden, other bands too, they're like, oh, we want you to try to keep up with these guys because what did we realize? Metal was losing its grasp. But at least in the 90s, we had the true, unadulterated birth of death metal. And thank fuck for that. That was the most exciting thing, I think, to come out of there. And then, of course, the rise of black metal, too. The darker the better, the heavier the better. And it gripped metal fans who were like, my heroes are sucking right now. Is this the end? No. Some of these other bands fucking saved it. That's how I feel. And it certainly wasn't Ozzy's fucking record, No More Crappy Tears album that saved anything. Stop it. Because it sure didn't. Pantera, they got close. The rise of Typo Negative, also fucking awesome. But man, staple bands were just really starting to, in my opinion. We have quite the discussion out here. So let me see. Personally, I thought Rust in Peace was their best. Most people do. Peace Cells and So Far So Good were great. However, Peace Cells had a great sound and songwriting. Yeah, I mean, definitely. Mousebong agrees. Yes. Rush in Peace. I know what you meant. She's like, damn, autocorrect. I do that all the time because I'm always using that voice to text option, and it always ends up making me look like a dumbass. So, man, who do I want to go with next? So fucking bad. I haven't done this one. Kreator, another band that we love and absolutely love them as a thrash band. We praise this band all the time. But they did have one record that was a bit lackluster, and that's the album Renewal. And wouldn't you guess it, 1992, as the thrash band era was kind of losing, especially Metallica coming in and sucking, all at an all-time high with Bob the Rock Cock. This one just wasn't as good as their previous efforts. But they didn't stay down for long. This one, I don't know. We've said this many times too. It seemed a bit uninspired. It says after the solid thrashing of the 90s Coma of Souls, Renewal was a complete U-turn for Kreator. An industrial metal flavored racket which all but jettisoned thrash entirely and settled on clanking. Again, metal bands were trying to get in on the fact that industrial music, bands like Ministry, Rob Zombie is another person to cite for this. People were really kind of enthralled with that, but at the same time, Kreator was not meant to be like this. They're supposed to be nasty and fast, right? So this record just was not very good for them.
Yeah, this one was like a what the hell is this moment? Because I fucking love Coma of Souls. That's my favorite Kreator album. Extreme Aggression is also really, really good, almost just as good as Coma of Souls. But yeah, this one wasn't quite so hot. It was a huge surprise, disappointment.
Yes.
Good call on you.
Tony says the 90s were not good for a lot of these bands, unfortunately. Abso-fucking-lutely, man. Definitely not. Babylon says Mouse is a baby. They're having a war on changing the title of Rust in Peace. I agree. Renewal sucks, but I also didn't like the album right before this one. Oh. So you didn't like Carnival of Souls?
Coma of Souls was
God damn it.
Amazing.
Sorry, I just turned to horror for a second. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I saw Kreator on that tour. They were really, really good. And there were only like 100 people at the show, 100, maybe 125 people at the show. Nothing
wrong with that, brother. That's okay. I don't think you missed much. Oh, okay. I graduated in 95. Since we're all talking about when we graduated.
All right. So that was a pretty good one. Here's one.
Oh.
So I saw this band, I think it was October 14th of 1990 with Death and Pestilence.
Oh my
And
damn.
I was fucking blown away by their live show, and especially Bill Steer on the vocals. He was so fucking deep and monstrous, and that coupled with Jeff Walker's high range kind of death metal vocals was nobody had done that before that I had ever heard. And they were so fucking heavy. When they played Reek of Putrefaction, I was just like, oh my God, I had never heard anything like this. And so every time I went to a record store for months, I was trying to find these albums, and I finally fucking found them. But so then Sony Records, Columbia, Sony Records signed a whole bunch of earache bands. They signed Morbid Angel, Left Hand Path, Entombed, and Carcass, and Napalm Death. They signed all 4 of those bands to big contracts, and they put a lot of money into the studio so they could record albums. And this is a controversial one, but I was very disappointed by this one. When Heartwork came out, you can't really see it, but Heartwork came out, I think it was like 93. Let me see here. 93, January 1st, 1993. I was mega disappointed because Bill Steer's vocals were gone, and being down tuned and playing really low shit that was like grindcore was gone for good. Was it a bad album? No, it's not a bad album, but this was a disappointing departure. I did not like this. I've never liked them near as much since. When I saw them, Bill Steer's hair was probably down below his little peanut dick, and it was so low, and it was in his guitar the whole time that he was playing, and he did the fucking windmills. It was fucking awesome, him and Mike Amat. It was such an amazing show. Those first 2 albums are really poorly produced, but they're gems. I would like Carcass to go back into the studio with the same tuning, but re-record that album just like Sepultura has for 3 of their albums, because that really helped. Yeah, I agree, Mousebong. It's a lot more proggy, and I agree that this album is also most people's favorite album from Carcass, but they're usually people that didn't grow up before with Carcass. Like, this is like the first time they were introduced to Carcass. And they did a fucking stupid cover song too. I think it was something Rockin' in the Free World or something like that.
Oh, what?
Now, I do like Neil, but I did not like this at all. Where is it? I'm looking for it. Rotten Roll. Artwork, No Love Lost.
Staple metal bands like this that are super heavy, super extreme, should not cover things that are really kind of far out of the wheelhouse, in my opinion, because it comes off crappy. It just really does. Anytime a metal band, in my opinion, except for like the Sabbath cover album that was really good, all different types of bands, doing covers and stuff like that from them. That was actually really good. But yeah, this was definitely not a good one for them. Babylon says, was his peanut dick roast or salted? To which Mouthfall replies, not peanut. To which he says, like Metallodic's whiskey, dude, don't even bring that up. Don't even bring that shit up. That fucking song is an abomination. Oh, and don't even get me started on him covering the fucking Silver Bullet Band.
Yes.
Fucking horrible. Just fucking horrible. Metallica can cover shit like the Misfits and Diamond Head and bands like that because those bands were fucking cool. Not to say that Bob Seger wasn't cool in his own way, but damn it, it stays with him. You know, I was like, what's next? Neil fucking Diamond? Oh, Caroline. Fuck off. Seriously. I don't like it when you know, good heavy bands do that shit. Unless they're making fun of it or do it in such a dark way that you almost can't help but love it. You know what I mean? Mousebonk says, if you like Heartwork, you could probably admit the next record, Swan Song, belongs on this list. Oh, man. Babylon says, and here I go. Yeah. You all right there, brother? Are we getting tuned in? What's going on? No, seriously. Oh, just having to listen to this. I didn't have to. I actually stumbled upon it. It happened to be on TV when I heard that fucking song. When they were still showing videos at that point. Oh, man. Lars was using too much teeth on James during that time period. I'm not going to disagree with that. Right. I won't disagree with that.
Babylon's in true form tonight.
Oh, you know, he always said when he's sober that, you know, he's 10,000 times worse. Tony says, I really lost interest in Metallica after Justice. We all did. Mm-hmm. Because they sold the fuck out. That's to which I said, Cliffy is rolling over in his grave. I'm sorry, Bruja. She says, really? After Justice? Yes, I'm sorry. The Black Album was not Metallica.
I still like it, though. I still like it, but I'm not going to compare it to the first four at all.
No, definitely.
I still enjoy it. It was a disappointment, though, especially for the Pits.
Mm-hmm.
I knew
there was nothing that you could get fucking hyped to be perfectly honest. Mousebong says, I decided I hated Metallica when I was writing to Ozzy Ozfest, maybe? And someone put on finger. Oh, one of the worst records they ever made. Shit, let me tell you. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, she meant Ozfest. Yep, I totally agree. Metallica fell victim to the 90s also. Yeah, a lot of the biggest bands did, because suddenly heavy music was just not ruling the airwaves anymore in this country. So they all changed in order to make more money. Fuck that. Would have never have done that if I was in that situation.
Tony D is offering us a softball pitch for us to hit a home run on.
Dun dun dun. Yep.
We Bob suck a cock. Rock. God, he even had
the killer of heavy bands.
His ponytail was up really high. It was really short, and he had it up really, really high, which was so cheesy. What a cheese ball.
It was like everything that you would hate in the music business all in one guy right there. Oh, shit. Cody says, Babylon, I went into a store the other day for work, and a guy who was stocking the Coke section. I know I made that man uncomfortable looking at him because he was your twin. My goodness. Babylon says, Bob and Lars were on each of James Huvos suckling? Okay.
Huevos, that's his balls.
Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Babylon says, Cody, I'm a clone. Right. Oh, man. A Babylon doppelganger. Exactly. So do we have some honorable mentions? Or actually dismention? Unmention? I don't know. How do we want to say that?
I thought because of the picture you have in the background that you were going to bring up Twisted Sisters Come Out and Play.
I was going to let you do that.
Oh. Well, since I saw that you had it up there, I didn't mention it until now.
Go for it, man.
But oh my gosh. Leader of the Pack. After Stay Hungry. Now, for me, I don't like We're Not Gonna Take It. I don't.
Right.
It's okay. I love the video, but I don't really care for We're Not Gonna Take It as a song. But I Wanna Rock, The Beast, The Price, like
Captain Howdy.
The whole rest of that fucking album is really, really, really good. But so I was a huge Twisted Sister fan. Twisted Sister's the first band I ever saw. Yeah, oh hell, that song's fucking amazing. So I was a huge Twisted Sister fan. It's the first band I ever saw when they opened up for fucking Iron Maiden on the Power Slave tour. I went in all by myself. I had a ticket. A friend was supposed to go with me, and he didn't fucking make it. Just fucking ghosted me. So I got my dad to drive me about an hour and a half to the show. And then I went in there. And as you may have heard before, it was my first time ever smelling weed. And I would never forget it for the rest of my fucking life. Thank you, Iron Maiden fans, because they were all laid out on the grass smoking weed. It was everywhere. It was so good, too. So
they fell victim real quick.
Yeah.
It wasn't even the damn 90s yet.
So they led off with the title track, Come Out and Play. It's a really good song. Bum 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 bum. That's a really good song. And then the other one I think is called King of Fools. Those are the only two songs that are worth a shit on that album. All the rest are disappointments. They're like 2 out of 5 stars. But fucking Leader of the Pack is what they decided to put out for. And I couldn't believe this because Dee Snider was so fucking metal, especially on You Can't Stop Rock and Roll.
Yep.
And in Under the Blade, that album, he was fucking metal, like hardcore, like what a good representative. And for him to fucking water down fucking Leader of the Pack just so they could ride their motorcycles and try to have a love song. Like, I'm sorry, Dee, you're not sexy. Love songs are not
he was
for
never
you.
Supposed to be.
And then to add insult to their injury from this album, their next album, Love Is for Suckers, was an album of love songs by fucking Dee Snider. Dee Snider, you are not a looker at all. That fucking sucked too. I mean, they had some woman's sexy mouth biting on that Hard Rock Candy with Twisted Sister logo. I was so disappointed with Come Out and Play when I saw the album cover for the next one, Love Is for Suckers. I didn't even attempt to buy that fucking album.
No, because you knew that was the end at that point. That was the end of them. They had nothing left. They had no metal card. They checked it in because they were trying to keep up with Warrant, Poison, Cinderella, and all the ballad bands that suddenly just started dominating all over the fucking place. Metal was never about, oh, how I do love thee. No, It was about everything that we were against. We were against the system. We were against, authority and shit like that. And that's what made Twisted Sister great, because they were like, no, fuck all you people that are saying we look like shit, won't let your kids see you, all that stuff. The censorship. This is the guy that stood up for metal in a court of law. And he trades in his drag queen look for nothing but pure denim, and thought that everyone was going to think he was cool. You want to know who already did something with motorcycles? Dumbass. Motley Crue. Girls, girls, girls. Look it up.
Oh, that's a fucking terrible.
What a shit fucking Fiesta album that was.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We have a lot of comments to go over.
We sure do. I'm getting to them right now. Also had Obituary, The End Complete. Oh,
yes.
yeah.
So this is the album. This was a huge disappointment. That's on my list as well. This one was a huge. I counted down the day. I checked through Metal Maniacs looking for when they were going to release this, and then they gave the tease. And back then, when they gave the tease, you had to get Metal Maniacs right away, because the tease was only maybe like 2 weeks before the album came out. And I was so excited for this album, and it was just flat. It's not horrible, but it was really flat. Nothing is memorable. Like Slowly We Rot, Cause of Death were so fucking good and slow. And this was just a little bit more up-tempo, so it's like a mid-tempo, but it kind of stayed there in that mid-tempo throughout. And just John Tardy isn't really doing anything interesting with the vocals on that. That's a good one, Mousebong. I definitely had that one too. I have not. That is one. This is kind of a controversial one. So Entombed put out Left Hand Path. Fucking amazing, creepy album, death metal album with a chainsaw, the heavy metal 2-pedal with a chainsaw tone. And this album, a lot of people, this is widely regarded probably in the top 10 best old school death metal albums of all time. Really good album. And so then they followed that up with Clandestine, and Clandestine was a little bit of a disappointment for me, but it's not a bad album. It's still a good one. Like I would rock that. I'll rock that album today. But then they came out with Wolverine Blues. And Wolverine Blues is like death and roll, not black and roll, but death and roll. So Satyricon probably got their idea for black and roll from Entombed with their death and roll. But to me, it's a really good album, but it's not Entombed anymore. Igor sounds like himself, but not as death metal-y. He's more kind of yelling on it, but it's much slowed down. Gone is all of the darkness, and now we have a little bit of an upbeat kind of heavy metal now, but it's still really good.
It's like, how the hell can you call yourselves Entombed and you're so stripped down like that? It just doesn't make sense. At least not to me. It's a great conversation going on. This is in regards to Dee Snider. He looks like Sarah Jessica Parker in drag with a hairy chest. But goes on to say, Mouse, I only thought she was attractive in Hocus Pocus. Yeah, as a witch, sure. I can agree with that. And apparently everybody else did as well. So, oh, man. So this concludes our list of some of the most disappointing. Oh, is there more?
There's more.
Okay. Go right ahead, man.
This will be quick, though. Satyricon Rebel Extravaganza.
Yep.
Following up probably my favorite black metal album of all time, Nemesis Divina. they came out with this, and this is not a bad album. So many black metal purists call this like a horrible, like they over exaggerate, like this album's fucking horrible. It's not horrible. It was a departure. It had some new metal influence in it. The album cover fucking sucks. It's really stupid. But to me, this suffered because it came behind one of the best black metal albums of all time, and it wasn't the same one.
We actually both are, Bruja, but I'm a drummer. So I leave the guitar bits and vocals to the great Hoof Beast because he is the purveyor of those things.
Yep, I have a new album come out. I finally got it off Reaper. I sent it last night to no, actually, was it Sunday night? It's either last night or Sunday night. I can't remember. But I finally sent off that last track. So I'll have a new album coming out. We will have a new album coming out very soon.
Can't wait for you guys to hear this.
This is an album where it's a departure from my previous album that I have to re-upload to Spotify because something happened and the album's not on there. But my first album is on Bandcamp. That's a really good place to go check out underground bands. So it's on there. And so what you're going to hear differently in this one is every song is really heavy with black metal and funeral doom. And I use 7-string guitars on every song. And now I'm using a secondary guitar that is, it does kind of ambient dissonant stuff throughout. And so Reaper's done the drums for this album, and hopefully it'll be out in like 2 or 3 months on Malevolent Sound Records. That's a new extreme metal label out of Los Angeles.
Hell yeah.
The album is called Into the Mirror Darkly. Human the Hoof Beast Into the Mirror Darkly. Which
I hope to re-record that for you as well.
Yeah.
That'd be a blast.
It totally needs it.
But
we got another one from the Mousebong. She says Cannibal Corpse, Bloodthirst.
Absolutely.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was going to say just another uninspired album that just seemed like it just creatively, I mean, you still know it's Cannibal. The signature sound is there, but I think they were really trying to push themselves musically to kind of keep up with the current times. How fast can they go? I mean, this one almost absolutely broke the drummer. How fast can I blast beat? And nothing against, I think his last name's Nowinski, but nothing against him. But, you know, this proves that you don't have to go at the speed of light to be impressive. That's not what Cannibal was known for. And the bassist writes pretty much everything, lyrics, fucking, guitar parts as well, which is something that's always worked very well for them. But I think they just kind of, I don't know if they just weren't feeling it as much with this one. I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about it.
Oh, hell yeah. That would be great.
Oh, fuck yeah. We could totally do that. You kidding?
From Aaron?
Absolutely, brother. Oh, yeah. Well, with a title like that, Mousebong, come on. Definitely was not very impressive.
Babylon, I'm down to do a trio band with you, of course. But we cannot call it Burn the Priest because that was Lamb of God's first band.
Yeah. Maybe Shiv, the priest.
Hmm. Yeah, let's do something with the priest because I believe Babylon needs to get something out from his childhood. Some fucking priest has fucking inspired him for some fucking darkness against these fuckers.
Absolutely. Oh man, she also brings up Dying Fetus, Stop at Nothing. Yeah.
Oh, no, I like that album. It's not their best. I'd probably say it's on the lowest tier of their albums. I don't
Yes.
think it's bad. Mousebong, you think that's a bad album? I still like that album. It's a little bit more straightforward, but oh, I love their version of Slam any day.
For sure. Me too. And I think that's just what it is. It wasn't a 5 out of 5 stars for them. Not like what they've put out recently and prior to that. So I do agree a little bit with that. Little lackluster, not as creative, not as fucking demented as we've come to love.
Yeah,
from
that's right. Yeah, I agree with that, Mousebong. Yeah, it's not as good as the previous album, sure.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. Oh, my last one is Testament. Souls of
which
Black.
one?
Souls of Black. So the New Order was the Legacy is maybe my favorite, or the New Order. I love both of those.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Practice What You Preach. It kind of popped out a little bit. They're not near as heavy with that one, but it's still a really good album. And I hate the sound of the drums. Reaper, I've always been wanting to ask you about Practice What You Preach and what you thought about the sound of the snare in that album. I fucking hate the sound of the percussion on that album.
It's definitely very flat. They didn't capture the velocity of the crack that you can get out of that snare. Personally, I think it was a snare that was way too far in depth. So what I'm talking about there is the depth of the drum. The fatter it is, the more flat the sound. A regular good, and they might have used wood on that, which would definitely explain the flatness of the sound of it. So you tend to get a higher crack, more attack on the drum when it is actually a metal drum and not a wooden one. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what the problem is there. So when it comes to like doom metal bands, especially, a lot of the guys use wooden snares, and that's fine. Not every single song really needs that kind of high-end crack, because what they're doing is not that totally aggressive. So I didn't dig the sound of it either on that record. Souls of Black just didn't have the same fire, the same intensity, the same emotion that Practice What You Preach had. That one was just a stronger record. Mm-hmm. I don't know what happened there. They might have been Chuck Billy must have been listening to, something that influenced him in a different way, and it just didn't have that same fire.
Yeah, it's just flat. Like, I was really, really into Testament back then, and I wasn't after that album. I still went and saw him, but I wasn't.
He even kind of changed his voice on that one a little bit. I don't think his vocals were as like that grittiness that we got on Practice What You Preach as well.
That album just seems flat. I think it's pretty flat. Bruja says, "Torch the Clergyman" for our album.
I like that one. Line them up. We'll knock them down.
That is all that I have on here. I think that's it. Yep. Okay. That's it for me.
I only had one extra. And this is another band that is kind of a celebrated band, especially because they were so robotic in their riffing. The obviously the chugging is real tight, not genty, but very like fast bursts, and the band as a whole, especially with Raymond Herrera, the drummer, super fucking tight, so airtight, and they could reproduce it every single time on stage. The problem here is I hate to say it, but it's Burton C. Bell, who is so good at his gutturals. Not a whole lot of range with his screams, but they were good, and we really did appreciate them. But man, when you try to add in the keys and you're not hitting those notes with a melodic voice, not good. This one popped up quite a bit. Digimortal. Just for me, not a great record. They actually call it here a big mistake. It just wasn't the Fear Factory that assaulted my senses and my inner being. This album just didn't do it for me.
It's the least aggressive, and I could see it followed Obsolete, but I still really like that album.
I know you do.
Yeah, I really like that one.
Kind of hard to beat that record, though. Oh my damn, we got like 10 comments out here. Oh shit, we're talking horror? God damn. What are you guys doing out there? Let's see. Cody says we'll start there. Man, I love Testament, but the name Chuck Billy, I don't think metal. I think rockabilly or something. I don't know if that is his legitimate last name, but I don't know. I guess maybe he preferred to keep his last name out because he doesn't like it. I don't know. I'll have to do some digging there. But I see what you're saying, though. Everyone was laughing. Mousebong says, I can see that. Babylon loves what Bruja came up with as a name, Torch the Clergyman. A little bit of apologizing. Bruja wants a credit, so we'll have to throw it on the disc when it's done, or the LP actually. Oh, really? This is where we got into horror here. So Mousebong says, have y'all ever seen the movie Tucker and Dale versus Evil? I think y'all would love it. Are you fucking kidding me? That is one of the greatest comedy horror films of the current times, next to a few others. But that is definitely, there was once kind of like a discussion of which comedy duo was better in a horror film. Shaun of the Dead, Shaun and his mate, or Tucker and Dale. Personally, I thought both of them are equally as great, but Tucker and Dale, there was just something a little bit more magical there. Mm-hmm. Bruja says, don't forget us little people. Of course we won't. Are you kidding? You guys allow us to do what we do. Cody says he hasn't seen it, but I'll have to look it up. It's everywhere, brother. Easy to find film, let me tell you. Rebecca is definitely little people. God damn it. Why did you have to say that? Why say that? So what? She's fun size. She's snack size. That's what we call that when a woman is super short. They're snack size. What's wrong with that? Sometimes better. I don't know. Mousebong says, I remember buying like 3 metal mags in one day from Books A Million, and every single one was shoving Digimortal down my throat. Well, they were at a career pinnacle point around that time. So, I mean, to get as much promotion on that record. That's why all the magazines were doing it. But it just wasn't a total hit for everyone that was a fan of the band.
Hey, maybe. Oh, I know. Maybe going down to Aaron, what if we just called it Punishing Priests? And then
shit.
The three of us would have some mannequin of a priest at the beginning of the show, and the three of us would go and piss on the priest.
I was thinking of Louisville Slugger, but
Yeah.
That's a great fucking name, Aaron. Thank you, brother. So you never know, Morgrot Universe. You might see that in the near future. Brewha loves it. So there we go. Honestly, guys, there are so many other disappointing follow-up records out there. You guys know. I mean, Slipknot has quite a few, and many other big staple bands. Oh, man. Let's not even go there. It was a... Woo! Every animal defecates in one spot. That was the last record. But
Mousebong says, I could carry you like a baby, Rebecca.
Yeah. I put it up there because I thought that was just so funny. I can't believe she said that. As long as you don't swaddle her, okay? Babylon says, someone write those names down. Oh, man, I got it. I got it. Uh-oh. Cody says, all hope is gone with the downfall. I hear you. But, yeah, there are so many bands that everyone listens to, even a lot that we haven't mentioned, that had a stinker or two in the mix that just didn't hit us like the one previous. It's like you built us up, and then suddenly you're like, let me change a little something. I want to do something a little different. Sometimes when bands do that, whether it's in sound, and in a lot of the cases of the bands we talked about tonight, their appearance as well would just kind of make you go, this ain't the same band I was just listening to, partied, lost my virginity to. I don't know, anything like that. And they come back with an album that just sucks. So we appreciate everybody out there in the Morgrot universe letting us know your picks as well. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I kind of like this one. Burn the Holy
Yeah,
Man.
me too.
That's pretty hip,
That's
brother.
catchy. That's pretty catchy.
Very,
too.
very catchy. I love it.
Memorable.
So, but we appreciate you guys choosing us for your hump day entertainment here on Morgrot Entertainment Network. As always, you guys have given us so much as we are nerding out here on a topic that we always love to kind of bring this up, because as much as we love metal, sometimes metal, loses sight of itself, and it definitely happens. So we don't recommend that you listen to any of the records that we brought up. But if you're curious at the level of suckery that a lot of them have, and you haven't listened to them, please feel free. Go check them out and then tell us. It's nice to meet all you as well. Thank you to all of our new viewers tonight. Damn, the family just keeps growing here at Morgrot Entertainment, and we absolutely love that. But tomorrow night, just to let you know, on the Morgrot Network, the Horror Barbecue is back in effect on Friday. I meant to say Friday, not Thursday. I feels like it's Thursday right now. I don't know why. But Friday, the Horror Barbecue is going to be back, and we're going to be discussing Night of the Living Dead versus the remake of Night of the Living Dead. So if you are a fan of either one of those films, please tune in Friday night, as I'll be back in old Nebraska for us to discuss that with our special guest, Carnage, or should I call him the artist formerly known as Carnage, who is now Bub, as you guys found out a couple weeks back. So definitely tune in for that. And if you are ready to get moist, if you are ready to get your sin on Saturday night, oh, and it's going to be a moisty, tasty one this Saturday. Let me tell you, the goddamn program will be back. Myself, the purveyor of the tattooed nips himself, as well as the sinful seductress, will be ready to bust your guts, literally, and party with you at the same time. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Always, listen, expand your listening as far as metal goes. Try out some of the bands that maybe you're not familiar with. And, if you haven't listened to them in a while, maybe it's time to dust the vinyl off and give them another spin. But the most important thing is, while you're doing that, stay heavy.